Hi, I'm Anatole, and this is my reaction video for Violet Evergarden, Season 1, Episode 3, titled, You Won't Be a Tool, but a Person Worthy of That Name. It scored 7.7 on IMDb. It was first released February 1st, 2018, and has a runtime of 24 minutes. And that's all I've got. So we're going to be short and sweet for this introduction. Please join me after the video intro plays, and then I will do my reaction to Violet Evergarden Season 1, Episode 4. Please come back in a second or two, and I'm talking like a robot now. Go! So I wonder if that's going to be the subplot for the episode. It seems like every episode we get to focus on a new character. I don't trust this. This feels like setup for something opposite to happen. Is this a new open? It doesn't feel like the old open. I feel like I'm noticing this for the first time. So it's based on the British Parliament system. That's interesting. Okay, Data, we don't need to know everything about it. Like the reflection there. So, Violet needs to learn that sometimes we do things that have a second meaning. Sometimes an apology is not an admission of our regret, but regret for the state of the other person. But you already knew that. Come on. I'm assuming, again, this is based on World War I Europe, and I wonder at that time what percentage of the population was rural. I'm guessing 50%? I remember about 100 years ago, I think more people lived in the rural areas in the European countries than in America than lived in the cities. That's very pretty, especially that music. Music is really underscoring the emotion here. What are you trying to say, Father? What do you mean, career woman? I didn't think she'd say that. I was just guessing. Leave it to Violet to blow this up. To blow this little scheme apart. Here we get back to the theme of communication that's so important in this series. Well, I love how some adults would be scared by the hands, but to the kids they're like, oh, robot, cool. It's a family drama episode. The last episode was a family drama, the one between the sister and brother. Feels like, wow, every episode's a family drama. Now to think about it. Because really the people she works with are an extended family. She's not going to know what to do. Violet's out of her depth here. Is she going to keep the secret or say it? I'm not sure how Violet would respond if she was confronted with being tactful and being silent, or just being plain and direct and not. Probably just say what. Yeah. Just say what's happening. Go away, Mom. I'm not a little girl. I'm not. Stop bowing. You're not Japanese. You're European. No, I'm lying to make you feel better. This is hard. Ugh. Sorry, I don't feel that way about you. Did we get Iris? Did we get Iris doing this voiceover earlier? I don't think so. I imagine she'll end the episode with a voiceover too. It's like I was saying before, every episode they seem to focus on a different character.
記念すべき第1通目の手紙です。
That's probably Violet's best letter yet.
お金取るの？代筆は仕事です。じゃあ就職認めて。規定の金額に足りません。そこは社内の危機で。
Of course, Violet had to ruin it some way. They're both flowers. I wonder if Iris is meant to be a mirror of Violet, simply from the fact they both have those flower names. Who was the other girl? They worked in their office. Yeah, Erica was the other girl. And Catalea. None of those are flower names, so I wonder if that was deliberate to give both of these characters those flower names, so that they could be a mirror of each other. Not sure. I don't think it's accidental though that they gave Iris the flower name. The flower was moving. The pistil? Is that called the pistil in the flower? The pistil? I can't remember the name of the part of the flower that's in the middle there. The pistil.
きっとその名前にふさわしい女性になる。君は道具ではなく、その名が似合う人になるんだ。
So that's where the title came from. I wonder what word was being translated from the Japanese. Because tool has that meaning also for being really stupid. It's a slang meaning in English. I'm sure it doesn't. It's not supposed to have that connotation in the Japanese, I'm guessing. More like a machine. Well, that was it for episode 4, titled You Won't Be a Tool, but a Person Worthy of That Name. Join me in a beat here, and then I'll give my review for this episode. See you in 3, 2, 1, and welcome back. I've watched the episode 3 times now, and read some criticism of it, and listened to some podcasts. So what is my impression of the episode? I have to agree with the score that it got on IMDb from the users of 7.7. I think it's a weaker episode, and it suffers in comparison to the episode before, episode 3. Basically, it's the same plot line. Someone has problems with their family, and Violet Evergarden is able to solve it by overcoming her shortcomings and finding emotion within her so that she can express for others the words she sometimes has difficulty expressing, and express for them the words they have difficulty expressing. So it's the same plot, only I thought it was more effective in episode 3 because that in episode 3 it represented progression for Violet's character. She was unable to pass her school. I can't remember the name of the auto memoir doll school that she went to, and so the stakes for her were very high, because if she didn't pass that school, it would jeopardize her place at the post office. Whereas in this episode, she's already overcome that obstacle of being able to find the correct words, and in episode 4, she's given that same obstacle again, so she has to pass something she's already passed before. So it's being redundant, and the stakes aren't as high. If she fails this mission, it doesn't jeopardize her standing at the post office. It jeopardizes her co-worker and her co-worker's relationship with her family, but we don't have stakes with the co-worker, and we haven't invested in the co-worker like we have with Violet, and it's just a retread. So I can see why it got a lower score. And then one of the podcasts pointed out that the world building has become a little bit facile, a little bit empty. We are given this amalgamation of European sources, European influences, but they don't seem to mesh. And we keep getting these references to how people were affected by the war, but we don't get the grander scheme. We haven't seen why the war played out the way it did. We haven't seen the organizations that were behind the war. So the things that would give you that feeling of being invested in a world are a little bit lacking. And then finally, the last criticism I heard, and the one that has been bothering me, is just what exactly is the nature of Violet Evergarden's disconnect with humanity? I think I've been referring to her as a robot or robot-like, although all that really happened to her was that she lost her arms and then underwent the conditioning from the army to become a soldier that does dehumanize us, but we don't see other soldiers being as disconnected as Violet. The brother of the girl from episode 3 was disconnected, but he sought his answer through alcohol. But he was still able to act in a way that was human. He was not completely depersonalized. So just what the nature of her dehumanization is a little bit, it's a little bit confusing to us, the viewer. And so I'm hoping that gets cleared up, and that the issue of the world building is also a little more clear as we proceed. Now, my understanding is that episodes 2, 3, and 4, the last three, the ones that have dealt with characters that are in the orbit of Violet Evergarden, were not in the light novel. That these were added by Kyo Annie, I guess, as a way to draw out the story and maybe build up the cast around Violet Evergarden. But we can see how they do seem a little bit plugged in, the way that episode 4 and 3 are redundant, and that if they were telling a coherent story where one episode built on the last, you would just look at episode 4 and cut it out because it doesn't move the story forward. And so I think that's my overall thought, that really episode 4 just didn't do anything new. It didn't add to our understanding of Violet, and it didn't build up the world in a coherent way. I enjoyed the story on its own, just by itself. And I think I reacted that way too, that I appreciated the tale of this girl telling her love and being rejected. I thought that was heartfelt. It was a little cliche. The whole setup was a little cliche. The country girl going back and having to deal with the life that she left behind and not being able to fit in. We've seen that story before. But it was well done. It's just that within the place of the arc of the series, it was a misfire for the reasons I've said before. And that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on this episode of Violet Evergarden. Please join me again on this channel, and take care and be well. Goodbye.